And once you shift your mindset and you start thinking of it that way, you're excited for that next adventure because you know you have the experience to make it happen. And I think when we can do that, and we know still that no matter what title or career, identity we have, it's not tied to our career. We can have a million titles in life, but we're just adding on to more experiences that we won't regret not having at the end of the day.
Welcome to Be Bold Branding, where we discuss the power of differentiating yourself through your own unique story and standout personal brand.
What if your first dream career isn't your last? Today, we're exploring the art of professional pivot with Shannon Russell, founder of Second Act Success. Shannon's journey from television executive producer to successful entrepreneur embodies her grandfather's legacy of meaningful business ownership. After achieving her childhood dream in the entertainment industry, motherhood prompted Shannon to pivot back to her New Jersey roots, where she built an award-winning franchise before launching Second Act Success. Now, as a certified career coach, podcast host, and course creator, Shannon helps women in unfulfilling careers design their own professional pivots. Spoiler alert, she's also a BrandFace client, and we'll hear how she feels about her journey and her brand.
Shannon, welcome to Be Bold Branding.
Oh, thank you so much, Michael and Tanya. I'm so excited to be chatting with you.
We are as well. So give us a little more, Tanya teased a little bit, but give us a little bit more of the background and what led you to do what you're doing today.
Well, I achieved my childhood dream of working as a television producer. I did that for 16 years in New York and LA. And then Tanya was right. As soon as I became a mom, everything started shifting. So I had a 3-year-old with a newborn on the way, and I kind of had an epiphany that the long hours and travel just weren't going to suit me to be that present mom that I really had always dreamed of being. And that's when I started thinking about what else could I do, and started thinking about a second act and how to transfer my skills. And I decided to produce my own life and open a business. So I opened a franchise to begin with, and then that grew to be successful in the first couple of years, and I just wanted to do it again. And then I opened my career and business coaching business so I could help other women like me who felt kind of stuck and misaligned and just wanted to start something new.
That's awesome.
Yeah. One thing really stood out for me, Shannon, when you were telling your story and we were kind of crafting it and pulling it all together, was your grandfather's luncheonette in that local golf course seemed to really have an influence on you. Tell me a little bit about that and what it was that really drew you in that direction.
Yeah, so he actually he worked, he was in the war, he drove trucks around Manhattan. He really was a blue collar man supporting his 5 children and all of his grandkids. And then I think it was around 66 that he opened a luncheonette in the golf course. And that was amazing. I was 13, I think, at the time, and I was working with him there. But I realized that this was his dream business later in life. But it wasn't that he was the best at making coffee and donuts and sandwiches. It was that all of the golfers came off of the green to talk to him, and he got to share his stories. And it was so fun to hear him tell the same stories over and over again. And I think when I started my own business, I didn't put the connection together immediately that my grandfather was an entrepreneur. It was when I really did that soul searching and thinking about it that I said, wow, I think I did always want to be an entrepreneur from working with him when I was younger, because he was my everything and such a role model to me. And to see him be able to create that dream for himself later in life was just incredible, and such an inspiration, I think. So hopefully he's proud of me from, looking down at me today.
I'm quite certain he is.
No doubt.
We are kindred spirits that way. I had a very influential grandfather, and I can contribute everything that I've done in life to his influence over my life. And I've done the same thing, like look back and I was like, oh man, I did that because of how I felt about my grandpa. Even when you're doing things sometimes instinctually, and then you stop and you have a time to reflect on them, you're like, oh yeah. I did that because of Raymond. you know.
Oh.
So I'm kindred that way with you. That is awesome. How they can influence us in such powerful ways. So
I
Oh,
love
yeah.
that. I love that you had that experience too. I recently had someone who said, "You know what? I think your grandfather, because he spoke so much and talked, and that was what drove his business. And look, that's what you do." And I'm like, "Oh, I guess it is with the way I work with clients and my podcast and speaking on stages." So I was that other element of it that I was like, "Wow, it's funny how you can learn as we grow older that we still have that correlation with our family members."
yes,
Mm.
yeah. They influence us in ways that may be one of our takeaways, right?
Definitely.
Is relational influences that spark this creative thought in us and cause us, to your point, to bring back you this pivot, right? And definitely there are listeners out there that are finding themselves in the same spot. Right. Maybe they have already achieved the original goal that they had. And then they're sitting around and just like you, they thought, you know what, life's changed on me a little bit. Now I'm a mom, or I've got other things in my life that have influenced, it's time for me to do something different. So can you name a specific moment? I know you said that, being a mom and your dream of being a mom caused you to pivot a little bit. Was there a specific moment that made you realize that this dream you're living right now was an unresolved career choice?
Yeah, there was a epiphany, my aha Oprah moment. It was running through the Times Square subway station in New York City, trying to catch my bus home to pick up my 3-year-old from daycare. And I was pregnant, 8 months pregnant, I believe, and in heels, and then hysterically crying because I realized I just didn't want to do this anymore.
Mhm.
And the funny thing about that is that I was supposed to interview Taylor Swift that evening.
Wow.
And instead, I was like, no, I need to be home and pick up my son. I can't miss another dinner and bedtime. And so it was in that moment, I think I was just, this is not going to work when my newborn comes as well. So it was just where I think I said, you know what? I accomplished it. Let me celebrate that, hang it up on the shelf, check it off, check the box off, and say, what else can I do? It wasn't that I didn't like it. It just didn't feel aligned anymore. So yeah, I
That's
think there's probably a lot of people who can relate to that.
Oh,
Yeah.
no doubt. A lot of people that wouldn't have even got the chance to turn down Taylor Swift, right? But I don't know Taylor Swift, and I haven't met your two, no doubt, beautiful children, but I know for a fact you made the right choice. I can tell you that.
Absolutely.
So that's, hats off to that too. And now helping other people realize those same things, that's quite a rewarding career path, I would say.
Yeah. And a lot of women struggle with that same thing, Shannon. They struggle with like thinking about, I've invested all these years, I've invested all this money. I mean, I can't stop now. What is your approach to helping those women overcome that feeling that they've wasted all that time or money?
Yeah, because it takes a lot of work for some people more than others. But the fact that we can celebrate what we've done and that we haven't wasted anything because all of those skills and experience come with us as we move from this act into the next. And so I think it's celebrating where we came from and kind of adding on to that lifelong resume, if you will, and saying, okay, well, how can I take this experience and build on this business I'm creating or build on this next role to make me a better person to run that business or be in that career field. And once you shift your mindset and you start thinking of it that way, you're excited for that next adventure because you have the experience to make it happen. And I think when we can do that, and we know still that no matter what title or career, identity we have, identity we have, it's not tied to our career. We can have a million titles in life, but we're just adding on to more experiences that we won't regret not having at the end of the day.
That's definitely another takeaway, and we
absolutely.
got to pin these takeaways right here because I like that. We really believe the same thing. It's why we start the podcast off with what led you to get to this spot, and it's a great perspective that you point out that all of those paths, like we're not defined by that title. it's just a part of that, what you said, lifelong resume. I love that because it is a journey. It's a lifelong journey. And, hopefully a listener out there is hearing what you're saying. You might be giving up a title, but you haven't given up that experience. You haven't given up the lessons learned, the obstacles you've overcome. And those things are only preparing you to, number one, help yourself in a betterment in life. And also, hopefully, like you, help other people too.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just a part of us. And what's nice for some of my clients to think about is that you can always go back if you need to. If you try something and it doesn't work out the way you wanted, you can still go back. I always say I can still go back and produce if Oprah called or someone called tomorrow. But, right now it's about trying something new and challenging yourself.
Like what you're hearing? Hit that subscribe button and learn how you can change how you're seen and charge what you're worth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And two, you stepping out from a more corporate environment into an environment where you make the decisions and you're not under the thumb of somebody else. I think that's a big thing for a lot of your clients too.
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what percentage of your clients, by the way, step away from from a corporate environment into maybe entrepreneurship, and what percentage are stepping into just a different phase of the corporate world?
It's probably about 95% are going into business. And it's
Fantastic.
morphed over the last few years too, because I think a lot of people just see that no matter what kind of 9-to-5 job they might have, it's still not stable. So you might as well take that bet on building something for yourself. So yeah, it's majority of women who just want to leave that 9-to-5 and start their own business.
And, there's never been a better time to do that because really, unfortunately, the pandemic, there's good and there's bad to it. And the good that came out of it is we're much more individual, independent, and realizing, hey, we can do some things from home and make money and take care of our families. So I love that part of it. So you can tell we're pretty excited about this. So, so I want to shift though for a second about something I'm really excited about. And that is, we had the chance to help you build that Second Act Success brand.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want you to, if you don't mind, tell us why you came into the program in the first place.
Well, first off, it was you, Tanya, because you guested on my podcast and I felt like we connected so much. I loved your story. I loved, the business that you and Michael have built. And I felt like when we met, I was early on and I, thought I made a cool logo in Canva and I, I tried to figure things out. But working with you, it really helped solidify everything. And I think we worked on my colors, on bringing kind of what I call now to my clients, my career story. I always say, like, everyone, think about where you've come from and where you're going and create that story. And you guys really helped me create that story and make it really cohesive. And I think I've told you this before, but I get compliments constantly with Second Act when people realize, ooh, it's the entertainment industry. It's what you do now, starting over, the pivot. It's also encompassing together and it's beautiful. And I do get compliments all the time. And I owe you guys that so much.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome.
What were you concerned about in coming in the program, or were you concerned at all?
I wasn't too concerned. I think, well, I guess we did have Second Act Success was the name of my business, but I wanted to work on the logo and make sure that, the website was all cohesive and that everything just really portrayed what I wanted the business to be. And so it made so much sense to come in and work with your team to do that early on so that I wasn't trying to switch things out years later. And I think once I had the logos and the graphics and mixed with photos and everything, the bio, everything just kind of came together beautifully on the website, which really is your home real estate, if you will, to portray what you're trying to your potential clients. So I think I just wanted to make sure that we stuck with, what my original idea was, but we did perfectly. And it elevated everything so much.
Yes, that is a concern of a lot of people. It's like, okay, are you going to rip everything apart that I've already done? It's like, absolutely not. There's a reason you did some of the things that you did. And going back to when you said you're not identified by your career, but it is a lifelong journey, and you're bringing that experience in with you. One of the things we created was a tagline, which is basically produce your best life, right?
Mhm.
And I think that pulled the two sides of the coin together for you. It pulled together your past of being a producer, so you're producing things and letting people know, hey, it is up to you. You can produce your own life. You can produce that second act, whatever you want your life to look like. It's at your fingertips, right? So I love how all that came together. Tell me, what was the most eye-opening part of that journey for you, Shannon?
I think really seeing like that little idea for my business come together and look so professional, just really come together and have, like you said, the tagline was just so perfect and everything I felt like the website I had created on my own, like finally looked professional, like something I was truly proud to share with others. And I think that's what it's all about. You want something that really speaks to you or speaks to who I am as a person, the business and the clients that I want to attract. And together, everything just felt like I wanted to show it to the world, which is a testament to you guys and your team, because it really did feel absolutely perfect and ready to go, and still does, these years later.
I love it. I love it. It's a "Where Are They Now" episode, right?
Yeah.
Love that, Shannon.
How has your brand helped you already?
Whoa, it's helped so much. I think just in, me with my podcast and really talking about, like, a lot of times people will say, well, what does a producer do? And how does that correlate to running a business? And it's like, well, a producer gets an idea for a television show and has to put every single piece together to bring that show onto the screen. And when you're an entrepreneur, you do the same thing, right? You think of an idea for your business and you have to do everything you can to get it out into the world and start finding clients or customers. So it's so similar, the Produce Your Best Life tagline and idea. And I've been able to utilize that in so many ways in conversations like these, in the book that I'm writing or that I wrote, in my podcast. It just all comes together. And I feel like my brand is cohesive no matter what I do, and helps get the idea out to others that they can produce their own life and they can make their own change. And I'm the one to help them do that.
Tell us just a little bit, Shannon, about your coaching journey. Do you do one-on-one coaching, some group coaching? Like, what is the basic premise of your coaching?
I do one-on-one coaching most often. I am relaunching my group program actually this month. And so that is going to be where it's an online course and then group coaching programs as well. So we'll see. So it's kind of options. That's more of an accelerator. Like if you have that business idea and you just want to get it off the ground, this will be able to help you. But I find that a lot of clients want that one-on-one attention for as long as they need it, especially if they're trying to leave their 9 to 5, because there's a lot of moving pieces and we want to make sure that they're safe and financially set and ready to go. So yeah, I really enjoy the one-on-one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all encompassing. Like you're really helping them step by step by step, just like if you were going to build a TV show.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely, Michael. And it's like, really, there's some clients who are like, okay, my business is up, I'm good to go. And others who are like, the business is good, but I want you to help me scale it at least for quite some time, till I feel good about it. So I really just take each person individually at what they need and we design, their program for them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But what would you say to others who are considering becoming a BrandFace client?
Do it. Absolutely. Especially if you've been DIYing it and you need some help really drilling down. I think the actual, like we were talking about, the story behind your brand and your business, by working with professionals like you guys, that you really can get that polished final look that makes you want to go out and pitch yourself and show the world what you can do. And you don't feel like it's a DIY kind of, business that you're creating, that you really have something that is polished and professional. So absolutely, I would recommend you to anyone.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much for that.
Well, there's a big congratulations in order. You have a new book coming out in just a few weeks. It'll be coming out on what, May 7th?
May 7th. Yep. It's called
Okay.
Start Your Second Act: How to Change Careers, Launch a Business, and Create Your Best Life.
Want to share the cover with us?
Yes, I absolutely will. I have it right here. You can see it right here.
That is beautiful.
That is great.
And on brand. Love it.
On brand, exactly. I wanted to make sure, as we were thinking of the title for the book, because that I did not have immediately when I started writing it. I wanted to make sure that it was all in the second act kind of branding that we created. And yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Well, congratulations on that,
Yes.
first off, because that's just going to be another credibility tool to an already highly credible business and career path and background. You're clearly set to help people, your ideal customers and clients, to do the things that you've already done. And so we definitely encourage any listener that's thinking about this to reach out to you and find out more. What's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, secondactsuccess.co is my website, and everything's on there, from the book to how I work with people and free resources. All of that is right there, secondactsuccess.co.
Oh, thank you, Shannon. We got a few takeaways. We do these at the end of an episode when we pull some really good gems out of the episode. And so the first one for us today is, and we've noticed this forever as well, and you just proved it again today, our childhood almost always shapes where we end up.
Mm-hmm.
Almost always. It's a phenomenon. It's really fantastic to see.
It truly is. And I like this one a lot. We're not defined by our career. We're defined by the lifelong journey. Like you said, title. You may be giving up a title, but you're still on that lifelong journey. That is your story. You're still writing it, and keep doing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the final one is, the story really matters, right? Because we can have all the pretty graphics and everything that we want to have, but if we don't really have the story behind it so people can understand that experience we come with, right? And how we help people and what kind of transformation it makes in their lives, then nothing else matters. We like to say anybody can build a pretty brand, but unless it's purposeful and profitable, it's actually pretty pointless. So you've proven that. Your story is incredible. And I have to say, from a personal note, Shannon is one of the few clients that I've actually gotten to meet in person. We met 3 years ago, I want to say, at the which one was it?
Podcast Movement. I think.
Podcast Movement. That's right,
Podcast Movement in Dallas. Yes.
Yes.
And I can tell you, she is just as genuine and kind in person as she is in this. If you're just hearing her voice, you can tell immediately this is somebody that's going to give you a lot of confidence, going to help put you on the right direction, super competent at what she does. We can't recommend her highly enough, from just a professional and a human being. So thank you for being in our family, Shannon.
Thank you. As are you. And as are you, Michael. Honestly, it's such a pleasure to know you and have worked with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ready to change how you're seen and charge what you're worth? If you're not getting enough opportunities to meet with ideal customers, or the prospects you're meeting with just aren't ideal, it's most likely your brand that's holding you back. So if you're a coach, consultant, or expert who is on the rise, you need our ultimate guide to a freedom-based brand. Download it free now at BrandFaceGuide.com.